buy a car. You move out of the city, you actually have to like get a car and you actually like have things. You know, I feel like when we're here, you're like so bare bones, you know, in a tiny apartment, you got nothing. We like tell people, give us a gift card for a gift, because if you buy stuff, that means something else has to go. And who's to say that your gift is better than the thing that I already have? Have you guys felt that before? It's like I can have 3 pairs of shoes in my apartment, and if you give me another one, it may not be better. So, wait a minute, okay. Anyway, keep that one in mind. But I think, you know, we're living with our parents still, actually, while we kind of figure out this kind of where we want to be exactly and all that. But we have more space, and we got a car, and it's just much easier, I think, for me. Even when I was thinking about buying this car, it was like, man, on my way home, rather than like, listening to spiritual music or reading scriptures and things, I'm like looking up Edmunds.com, like, what is the best car, what are the reviews for this year, and blah, 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 blah. And it can be very easy to get caught up with these things. Instead of being grateful that I have this job and this life and the family and relationships that I have, I can be entitled, selfish, insecure about my future, and greedy with my money. Materialism is a safe place. And the thing about materialism, we can easily get away with it as disciples. It's not one of those sins, like, there's certain sins where if you commit them for a while, people are generally pretty much going to figure it out. Right? It's going to become obvious. And materialism will too in some ways, but you can go a while being very materialistic and still make it, survive in the church culture. And that's scary to me. That's really scary. I mean, I look at someone like Ananias and Sapphira, right, in Acts 5, where they sell this field, right, and they're like, this is like this incredible act of generosity. Some of the people in the church were like selling their property and giving it to the church to be able to be used for mission work and taking care of the poor and different things. And so they sold this stuff, and they're like, here. But instead of giving all of it, they just give most of it, of the property, of what they got from the property. And that seems like a great thing, but God ends up killing them because they lied about this, and they were greedy and held back. And rather than being honest and saying, look, hey, we really need this money, they said, oh yeah, this is all of the money that we got from the field. You can read in Acts 5, it's challenging. But I think we felt this. And again, this is not something that you face as much in the ministry because you're not really making much money, You're kind of like just trying to survive, right? Like, make enough to like cover your bills, and you feel great. And, you're thinking about kind of success in a very different way. But when you're surrounded, especially in the financial world, with people that their worth is based on the money that they make. And that's probably true for a lot of you in your offices. Man, that is a hard temptation to get over. So easy to be tricked into this safe place of materialism. The thing is, these aren't safe places. These are places where we ultimately end up walking in the dark. And they feel safe initially, but ultimately they lead to us stumbling and falling away from God. That's where they go. That's what Jesus says. Walking in the dark without Him in these safe places is dangerous. Now, what are some of the dangerous places? I don't know what that is for you. There was a sister who used to be in this ministry, actually, who's now up in Canada. Many of you guys know Laura. When she was here, she shared something. She was an actress, and she did some improv, and she shared with me, maybe some of you who have done improv would know this. And she said one of the techniques or the things that her teacher would say is to follow the fear. Have you guys heard this? Improv people? Yes? Maybe. Okay, maybe not. Good. Let's do it. Say follow the fear. Meaning if something is scary, do it. If something is scary, go there, right? Don't back away from something just because it's scary. Actually, that's an indication that you need to go there and try it. And they said that is really how they help develop actors and actresses. Is they said, because you've got to be willing to give yourself that fully and not be held back by fear. And I don't think Jesus is saying just, if something's scary, do it. There's a lot of things that are scary that we shouldn't do. Right? I'm not saying, follow the fear, man, run out in the middle of the street and just, don't do that. Not good. We're not supposed to do things that are scary just because they're scary, right? But I think we need to make sure that we are not being controlled by our fear. That we're being controlled by Jesus and His lordship and His example. And not by the fears that things that we're insecure about, or afraid of, or worried about. It is so easy to let fear dictate the things that we will or won't do in our lives. We need to let Jesus be the Lord of our lives and dictate those things. The thing about Jesus is that He almost always goes to dangerous places. Places that we're going to be afraid of. He doesn't always go there. You see, he comes back and goes to the nice, easy side, and things are good, and He does that. You see that in His ministry. Goes on little retreats with His disciples, and it's good. And He always returns to the dangerous places. And ultimately on the cross, that's the ultimate dangerous place. He decided to go there, even though He was afraid. Where is God calling you that you are afraid to go? I guarantee there's somewhere. I guarantee it. Absolutely. Absolutely. God is calling you somewhere that you are afraid to go. And that's okay. We all are in that situation. But what is it? And are you letting Him dictate whether you will go there? Maybe it's confessing sin. For those who are visiting with us, this is a church where we're really real. We're real about what goes on in our lives, from the, really big stuff to the really ugly stuff. We're real with each other because we're sinners, and we need that. But is this something that you're afraid to do, that God is calling you to? Is it serving the poor? So many needs right now, especially in the aftermath of Hurricane Sandy. Is there something there that God is calling you to do that you haven't done? Is it serving in the church? When I went up to Rockland, I was like, okay, I can't be complacent. I can't just sit there and just do nothing. I'm like, I want to do something here. So we ended up starting a Bible talk for young marrieds, because there wasn't anything like that, and it's been really great having that Bible talk up there. And I started serving in the singing ministry. Now, I want to tell you this. Okay, I'm going to close up here in just a second, because this is like, I'm on my last sheet, okay? So, I got up there and I said, Steve, he was the brother that leads the ministry there, I said, how can I help out? He's like, do you need teachers? I need to serve somehow, because I don't want to be complacent. He's like, all right, well, we actually need singers. And for anyone who knows me, like, I enjoy the preaching, I'll do the sound setup, I like that. I honestly, I don't enjoy leading songs. Or at least I did. Because I would get nervous, and I feel like my voice isn't good. I'm not like Melvin, I can't just I can't do that. I can't do that. I'm not John Adams. I don't do those things, right? This is just me, okay? And so I'll be embarrassed, honestly. Being on stage and kind of sing, and you guys I'm sure have done things like this before too. And so I was like, oh no, not singing. But the thing is, I had something in acapella group in high school, so I was like, I've done a little bit, He's like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how good are you at leading a song? And I was like, probably a 3. He's like, all right, well then we don't need you. And I was like, well, okay, actually, if I'm really honest, probably more like a 5. He's like, we'll take a 5. Okay, great. So I started, actually, a couple weeks later, I started singing songs in service, and I'm actually now leading the worship ministry there in Norfolk. Again, I'm still not very good at leading songs. Okay, I'm still not. But we have some other brothers who are great at it, and I can just kind of help, do the behind-the-scenes thing. And I do lead a few songs as well every week, and I've enjoyed it more. But again, this was a place that I was afraid to go. A place that I was afraid to serve. But there was a need there. And whether I liked it or not, I did have some kind of gift that I could fill. And maybe it's evangelistically. For sure, there's always a huge need for the world to know God. And maybe there's a scary place there that God is calling you, that you need to go. But think about that and identify that in your life. What is the scary place? The place that you're afraid to go, that God is calling you to. Let's just close out here and look at the results of Jesus' ministry. What happened because he was willing to go to this place and because his disciples were willing to follow? In John 11, verse 45 to 48, and then we'll read 12, verses 9 to 11. So, John 11, 45. It says, "Therefore many of the Jews who had come to visit Mary," again, so he raises Lazarus from the dead. "Many of the Jews who had come to visit Mary and had seen what Jesus did put their faith in him. But some of them who went to the Pharisees and told them what Jesus had done. Then the chief priests and the Pharisees called the meeting of the Sanhedrin. 'What are we accomplishing?' they asked. 'Here is this man performing many miraculous signs. If we let him go on like this, everyone will believe in him. And then the Romans will come and take away both our place and our nation.'" He faces up to the Pharisees, and not only does he win in this instance, but they're so afraid that even the Romans are going to step in because of the impact that Jesus' ministry is making, because he's willing to come back and face the dangerous place. Look at 12, 9 through 11. It says, "Meanwhile, a large crowd of Jews found out that Jesus was there and came not only because of him, but also to see Lazarus, whom he had raised from the dead. So the chief priests made plans to kill Lazarus as well, for on account of him, many of the Jews were going over to Jesus and putting their faith in him." Again, because he's willing to go back, you see the impact that he is able to make. Okay, we're going to take the communion here. And as we take this, we remember Jesus' body and his blood, and the example that he left for us. And as we take it this morning, I would just ask that we remember the dangerous place that Jesus went to, so that we can have the opportunity to go. That for him, even to come to this earth, we're going to celebrate, and actually after we take this, we're going to be singing, O Come, Emmanuel, which is a song about Jesus coming to this earth so God could be with us. And Jesus, again, up in heaven, totally separate from any pain or sin or difficulty or anything. And being willing to come to the dangerous and difficult place. And then ultimately to go to the cross so that we can have this chance. So I pray that we can be grateful for that, but then also take it and imitate his example in our lives. Amen? Amen.